personal development. And personal development is kind of like people help like with their wellness, with their happiness. They're trying to plan things. They're trying to grow in certain areas of their life. So I have an app that serves people that want that sort of service. So you can create an app or an experience for any type of service. So as you think through like, oh, well, if I wanted to be a product designer, I would want to be solving problems like out in the world, like you said, bring in water delivery drone service, like that would be pretty cool. And I can imagine in the future like pizzas being delivered with drones, or even delivery services with Amazon could be delivering like things that we ordered and then it would come through and get dropped on our front porch. All that stuff's possible. Have you guys heard of Tesla?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the electric car?
Yeah.
So those, for example, have a lot of different types of services, but the Tesla was created to basically solve a problem out in the industry, which is like, oh, no more. We want to reduce the amount of gasoline cars that are being created, and we want to try to come up with a solution that has electric solution, so there's no more gasoline on the roads. So all those things had started with a product designer or a visionary coming up with an idea. And the first thing, what do you think people do when they first have a big idea? What's the first thing that you would do if you have a big idea and you want to like start learning about it and start wanting to take action on this idea?
You design it?
You think you design it? What do you think, Jude? Research, okay. The first one is you would need a map. And a map also could be, like you said, research. But design is not quite there yet because we need to learn about what it is. So if you had an idea or you had an idea about anything that you wanted to create, the first thing that you would want to do is start learning about it through research and what we'd call like what I would call mapping to learn. So that could literally be an example of that could be you write out like on a post-it note like all the things, and this is what we would do at our company. So I worked at have you heard of Facebook?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Facebook, Jude?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we worked at Facebook. There's this company called LinkedIn. And all these other companies that I worked at, we would just basically have like hundreds of these little like post-it notes, and we would start thinking about and writing out like what services or what things need to be done. So when we're thinking about mapping, like you wouldn't go out into a forest or like that you've never been in without a map, bro. You get lost, right? You'd be like, where do I go? What do I do? And when you're thinking about anything that you want to build, the first thing you want to do is research and understand like, well, what's the map of this thing that I'm going to build or thing that I'm going to think about. So if you said like we could go with your water example, we could go with the one that's relevant for your class, which is the baked goods, or have you thought of any other things that maybe you'd want to take on?
Not really.
Okay. Anything else, Jude, besides the water service?
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of something that's tangible for.
Maybe the bacon one.
Okay. Yeah, maybe let's do the bacon. So we have, what were the two names of the?
Livy
and
Juna.
Okay, so maybe it's like their brand, like Livy and Juniper, they are the brand of the baked goods of, what should we name their little company? What should we name it? Because you're all the designers, so you get to choose. Wow, what would be the name of it?
Juniper and Livy's Bakery.
There you go. Okay, so yeah, so with the so it's their names and then Livy and Juniper's bakery. All right, so we have like the big vision. They need a website. They need a place where people can order from around the world. and they're gonna be like gazillionaires. They're gonna make so much because everybody's gonna want to come to their store because they're made zigzag baked goods and they're amazing, right? So, okay, well, now that we know that, well, where do we start? Well, we need to know like what's all going to be included in this. So, one of the parts of the map might be the types of things they bake, right? So, type of baked goods. There could be, cookies. There could be, what other types of things?
Muffins.
Muffins, okay. What else?
Pie.
Pie? Oh, okay.
Cake.
Cake. What else could they?
Cupcake.
So, cupcakes, okay. Cupcakes. Okay.
Bread.
And bread, okay. Some sourdough or something.
Banana bread.
Okay, banana. Okay, great. So we're already coming up with a lot of things that they could probably have in there. And then inside of each of these baked goods, they're probably going to need an inventory. Ingredients, right? So there could be a whole nother section of the map that has like flour, sugar, milk, maybe chocolate, and we can just keep going, right? All the list of ingredients. So they're going to need to know that. They're probably going to also need to have a way of kind of like a what do I call it? Just a budget. Like how much do they want to have all these things every single day, or like all these different types of baked goods every day, or do they only have certain baked goods like Mondays and Tuesdays or something? Like what's the cooking schedule?
Maybe for different meal times, they'll have some different things.
Yeah. So like their
Breakfast menu.
there you go.
Yeah.
Mealtime, so they have like maybe a breakfast, and then maybe the breakfast has like a couple things, lunch, and then maybe they close, so they're going through and thinking about that. Okay, that could be included in their map. What else? What else do you think that could be helpful for them on their storefront?
Where to get the items from.
Where do they order the? So they're in. This would be like their distribution, or not. Distribution's how they would send it, but their inventory and ordering of goods. So they would pretty much need to know, okay, where do we buy these things? Where do we buy these ingredients?
Yeah.
And then how do they manage that inventory? And they probably want to make sure, they're good quality ingredients, so they want to have a quality check. Awesome. So now that we know, okay, they have inventory, they have a schedule of when they're cooking, they have the ingredients, and they have the thing that people are actually going to be wanting to come to the store and actually buy.
Yeah.
So these are kind of like things that they would need to run their business. Now, what about like marketing the business? Like, what are things that you would expect to see to market it? Like, there's like social media, like maybe they have a TikTok, maybe they have an Instagram where they're showing photos of their goods and they're getting people to get excited about, oh, I want to go to that store and I want to buy that thing. I want to buy that baked good. So they probably have that would be considered like marketing.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of marketing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Marketing. Okay. So is this all making sense so far? Like breaking it down?
Yeah.
We're essentially building a little like map of all the things that are necessary for this company to work.
Yeah.
The same thing goes for any type of business. If you had an idea for a business, you would just like start off with your big idea and you could write it down on a piece of paper, and then you would start to deconstruct it and break it out and break it down. And I mean, we're not even doing any visual design or anything yet,
Yeah.
but we're just thinking it through because all of these things are going to make this actually be even possible. Because without all this stuff, this idea of this website storefront, it just wouldn't work, right? Making sense so far?
Mhm.
Any questions so far?
Nope.
It's making sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so we have marketing, which is like how you sell it, like how you so that might be on social media. This might also be the website storefront could also be a part, because like what's the brand? Have you guys heard of the branding before? Have you heard of that word? Branding?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, what's the vibe, the energy, the aesthetic, how does it look, how does it feel? That would be considered in the marketing side. So there's the social media, there's the voice and tone, which is kind of like how you, kind of like in the morning, like the voice and tone of your facilitators this morning were kind of like, in the first one there was like no talking. It was kind of being like kind of taking out his brain and kind of messing around a little bit to set the tone for the, like your all's, the energy that he's trying to create in the room is different from like what you would probably experience somewhere else. It's just they're trying to have like more of a certain way that they do things. That's like almost like voice and tone, like because when you start a business or when you have a product or service that you're working on, you get to decide how does it feel. Like is it hard rock and roll, or is it kind of like zen, or R&B? Is it pop? Is it like what's the energy of it? You get to decide that for anything that you design for, and if you're getting paid to design or to do a service for somebody else, you want to know what kind of style they're looking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so marketing. There's then, now that we know how to market the baked goods store, we need to actually now jump into the roles and responsibilities of whoever it is that makes. So somebody's going to be baking, somebody's going to be somebody's going to be maybe managing the inventory. Somebody's going to be, maybe these two people that are doing the managed inventory and buying all the sugar and the milk and the goods. They might not be the one that is doing the daily baking inside there. They just might not love it. They might not like it. So it's good to understand like your team and who you have, who's going to do the work. So that's a really important part as well. So I'm just going to write team, and it's just your team. And I think one important thing to know is like in product design, like you're always going to be working with a team. You're mostly not going to just always do something by yourself. If you are doing like a YouTube channel or a YouTube show and you're starting off small, like you would do it probably all by yourself. But like as you get older and you work with people, like you'll work with full teams, and they'll each have like little roles and things that they'll do in this, if that makes sense too. Yeah. Just have your teams, and you want to know like, and I have another chart over there which I'll walk you both over there. We're just going to do a time check real quick. Okay, we have about 30 more minutes of what they would do. So the team, and then so you have team roles and responsibilities. And I'm just trying to give you a crash course in like what this kind of world looks like. So after you have a map and you've kind of written out all these wild things of what could potentially go on this website, you could also start thinking about, now we think about design. And design is kind of like how something looks, how it feels, what it like, like a website, for example. Like if I was to open up an app, like all these apps on my phone. If I was to go to like this app, this is the actual like UX or UI design, and everything that happens inside of here is all inside of this bucket. But in order for this whole app to even like work, for it to function, or for any other app like for Instagram or for Facebook or for Audible or Amazon or any of those apps, how it looks and how it feels is going to be inside of the design bucket, like what it looks like. But before this could even work, you have to have all these other types of things that are going to make it work. And you would work with a team to figure all those things out and to like write them out, to document them, because these are the things that are going to actually help you get to this stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now that you have the design stage, what do you think the next thing is? Like after you design all this stuff, you have all these like things that you need to do. What do you think you would do next after you design it?
Start making it like functionable.
Making it function? Yeah?
Yeah.
So you have to build it or execute it or engineer it. I think you have coding classes here sometimes, right? So that's like the that's this stage, execute. But I've made it execute instead of like coding, because you could be working with a full team, and it's not just like you're not just coding things. You could be inside of a design tool and you're moving like pixels around, and which I'll show you. I'll show you both what that looks like too. But the execution is like actually making it and getting it done. So even if we design like a beautiful website for them to come and buy baked goods and see what the baked goods look like, we would still need to actually code and build this website and make it work and make it function and look at it and actually like be able to do it, like to be able to go to that website. You know, Livy and JuniperBakery.com, we would go to the website and then we would, you know, order the goods and then it would get delivered and fulfilled. Like we would still need to figure all that. That's all happening in the execution phase. So execution. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. And then the last thing, after you have a website, you have designs, you have a map of where you go. Now what we need to do is we need to evaluate it and measure it. So these are things that like how do you know it's good? How do you know you're making money? How do you know it's actually helpful for all the people that like it? Do they like eating the baked goods, or is it not so good? You want to have a moment in time where you can evaluate it and have some awareness of like, is it working or is it not working? And that's kind of like when you were doing the circle, the early morning conversation where everybody's like this, or that.
Yeah.
That's like an evaluation, like happening right in front of you. So if you have a way to evaluate the design, the map, and how you execute the project or the work, then you can know how you can make it better. Because if you don't ever ask or you don't ever measure it, you're not going to be able to know if you need to improve it. So the last thing here is you also want to be able to know what success looks like. You just want to start a new business. Is success like $1,000 a month? Is it $10,000 a month? Is it $100,000 a month? If we're going to make $100,000 a month, then we need to bake more cookies. You know what I'm saying? So like you need to know, like when you're first starting out in the map, you'd write down like what success looks like. Success is we're going to sell 100 cookies every single day, and that's our goal. And then when you have that goal, then you can actually design your whole experience and work towards your whole experience and execute it so that you can make sure that you're working towards success. The same thing could go for you want to launch a YouTube video or a YouTube show. The map would be, what are the 10 things that you're going to talk about in your YouTube channel? You could write out, that would be your map. You could write out the 10 things that you want to talk about in your YouTube channel. You would have a schedule. Like right, we're talking about schedules and the meal times and the things. Same thing could go for your YouTube channel. And then like ingredients, what are the types of things that you talk about? What are the types of things you demo or show or present? And then who are your team? You could have a video editor. You could have somebody that just does the talking. You could have like when you're doing game development, you could have your scripters, your builders, your storyboarders, like different people to do different roles, and even the odd man. What's the YouTuber odd man out, or what's his name?
The odd ones are.
The odd ones out. Yeah. So he at the end of his videos shows all his team that helped him make those videos.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So he has very clear roles and responsibilities for all the people that helped him do that. But he had to have a storyboard of his show.
Mm-hmm.
He designed it with his sketching and all this cool graphics.
Yeah.
He executed it with his team, and now he's evaluating, and he's now getting a YouTube or his show on Netflix. So that's what success was for him. So he went through this entire process. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this kind of like helping get the wheels turning for what product? Okay, cool. Now we have like 23 more minutes, so I want to go to this board and I want to show you this kind of like wow thing over here. So you guys can come up off the. All right, so we were talking about the team, right? The team, the people. So in product design, and I know we were talking earlier about like for that website. The baked goods website, we probably aren't going to need a huge like engineering team, but for the teams that I work with every day, we have like I have this like kind of graphic that I sketched out where we have people like, which is like, say we have a little team and we have engineering on that team, we have products, people that are making product decisions, we have people that are doing advertising. So when we're talking about marketing and sales, we have advertisers, we have designers, which I'm talking about. Crash course in design today. We even have a social media team, like that's doing just social media. We have marketing, and then we have like a content team that's doing content. So those are all like different people that we work with as a product designer. And then on the other side of this, we have the processes. So just like in your school, like right now, you have the schedules that you have throughout the day. Boom, 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 boom. This is considered, in my mind, like a process that your Zigzag has created so that you have structure when you come into the days. So these are kind of like plans. So when you're creating a business or a service or a design or a YouTube channel or whatever the service is, you want to have plans so that you can build kind of like a crew or a team or like a little army to help you execute those projects. Execution was one of the things, right? Then throughout that process, you have all these things. I'm going to go through them real quick, but these are all the things that you will do with a team every time you start a project. You'll have what I would call just straight communication. Like, how often do you communicate with the people that you come to school with to be able to get something done?
Yeah.
Every day? Every day?
Yeah.
Kinda?
Yeah.
If not, this is something that you'll have to do for the rest of your life. You'll communicate, you'll get better at like communicating your ideas so that you can bring people along the journey with you to make things. Like, it just is a thing that you do. You'll need plans, like what we have here, plans like across, morning, afternoon, lunch, all the things that you're doing, you have plans. Then, throughout the process, you have opportunities to share knowledge. Like, share the things that, I'm doing this week, and your responsibility is to do this, this, and this. So, like, you need to be able to share knowledge with the people that you work with on a regular basis. Then, collaboration is another huge thing. Have you guys heard of the word collaboration? Collaboration? Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So, like, what do you guys think about when you hear the word collaboration?
Teamwork.
Teamwork? Anything else?
You're just a bunch of people like working together to do a bigger goal.
Bingo. So collaboration, when you're working with other people, you need to have communication, you need to know plans, you have ways to transfer knowledge. And then what I have down here is development life cycle. So this is kind of like understanding, like, to me, this is also kind of like a development life cycle because you know every day what you're doing at certain times. And development's like when we teach, like when we're building a website or a product or a service, we have to tell the engineers exactly what to do So they're not just like developing something random or something that nobody understands. You tell them exactly what needs to be built, and the only way that they can know what to be built is if they have designs. So up on the map, right, we had map, execute, which is what we're doing design, and then we have, or that design stage where we're teaching them exactly what they need to build, and we do that through like visual design. And I'm going to show you that real quick. And the whole idea is to create harmony so that everybody's not running around like they're saying in the makerspace that is kind of chaotic sometimes in the makerspace because maybe people don't know there's other things going on. So the goal is to in product design is to create harmony so that when people are all working together, it's not a hot mess. Like people are like kind of chill and oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm working on, and that's kind of like the goal of what we try to do when we build products. And this makes like billion-dollar companies like this process. It's. Do you have a question?
I just can drink everything.
Oh okay. Oh yeah, open it. They just snuck in here, opened it, and bounced.
Yeah.
So that's like literally what creates the Apple, the Netflix, the YouTube, all the companies and services that y'all use. Like these are the things that this framework is exactly what they're using when they're building those products and services. They're doing this, and then this is more about like what we do as individuals. But here, I'll open up my laptop and I'll show you. I'll show you examples of this. I'll sit in front of you guys. Okay, so you connect to the internet. Well, maybe the internet's not here. I have this already kind of loaded. It might load it fine. All right. Now this stuff's probably gonna like blow your mind. But like so we just built a product or a service called Growth Groups. And Growth Groups is, have you ever heard of like Google Hangouts or like Zoom? Have you heard of those products? So those have you heard of Zoom, Jude? Yeah, you've taken Zoom classes. So people coming online and having a video chat and just being able to talk to somebody through a video camera. So we built that entire experience in our app.
Wow. That
allows you to have do all kinds of other things. So this file right here is the web version. So there's a web version and then a mobile version, because the mobile version is phone, and then the desktop version is like what would be seen here. So okay, here we go. Finally, you can connect to the internet. So, all right. So one of the things that we're working on right now. Here, what's it? Here, I'll do the mini player. Okay. So the mini player. So this tool right here is called Figma. Figma is kind of like the main design tool right now that like all designers are using. It's Figma. So if you wanted to learn more about product design, you could just go to YouTube and type in Figma. And Figma is free. It doesn't cost money, especially when it costs you just use your like Gmail, email, or whatever email, and you can get in there and you can start doing exactly what we're doing here. And these, like a designer's role, like opening in to like right out of college is a $60,000 a year salary. And then it goes up to like $300,000 a year. So just out of school, you could be you could be making $60,000 a year just designing products and services. So just so you know the spectrum of salary and what you get paid to do this sort of stuff. So in this experience, we had to design a tool that allowed you, when you're inside of a growth group, for this little widget to follow you around while you're in the website. So we had to have a very basic map of like how it worked. And then what we were doing is we designed all these different states of like, oh, we have one person on the video. We have 2 people joined, 3 people, 4 people. Like, what does that look like? And you have to, as a designer, think through all those different cases. And you would do this because this is all pixels. So like, all these things I could just, move them around and do all like whatever I wanted to do with all these things. And we would design out all those different scenarios. And then and this is more like in this realm right here. When we hand off like these things to engineers to build it, that's this stage that they're executing it. So like here's another example. So like at the end of a growth group, like these little calls that we have a screen that shows up that recommends things afterwards. So all those little states, you design what those things look like, and you set rules and structure for like how it should be built. And it's all like little, it's just all pixels, like things that you can move around. And if I was to start like a new page, it would just be, let me just come in here. Like I would just create a new page and I'd be starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's basically like, that's product design.
Cool.
Any questions? You guys worn out? What do you think? What do you think of product design?
Sounds really fun. I like it.
Yeah? Yeah? Right on. So that's like another wild thing. There's also like these other types of like just in this sense, looks more like more of a map. Like it doesn't have any like visual design, but it's all about like telling engineers how something will like work if you go from step to step. And then down here is kind of like, oh, well, we got to be able to decide, like we have multiple options to choose from. And then basically my job is to decide, like, is it A or is it B? Why is it A or why is it B? When everybody's like this or that, like you have a facilitator up here telling you, well, why? Or, they're prompting more questions. Like a product designer also facilitates how something gets decided. And that's again like another example of product. And then so that's like a web version of it. And then on a mobile version, so like all those decisions of like, oh, there's a video player, there's things you can click on. This is like a course, there's like a plan tool. Like all these little things are all decided throughout all these apps. So even if I was to go to Amazon, because you guys know Amazon again, homepage, profile, shopping cart, history, like all the things that you bought in the past, search, and then they have like an inventory. Same thing like when we're talking about ingredients. They just have a ton of ingredients inside of Amazon, but they digitize everything so it's super easy. This is all product design. So how it all works, and then that would be here, and then but all these things, they that's like essentially that's essentially 101 product design. Hope this was helpful. Yeah. Cool.